I'm here today to give a warning to everyone about the Australasian Society of Evolution. They're having their annual conference between the 4th to the 6th of December at UWA in Corley in Western Australia. I did apply to make a presentation, however it was rejected. My title will have to be assessed by a board of members who would decide. Another person responded to me with the message that it would be rejected. It would just be rejected. It has to be according to their model. Okay, so at the end of the day, what I'm saying is this. The reason why these organisers for evolution are not open-minded is because they have a narrative and they don't want this to be challenged. Okay, so there are two types of myths. There's a myth which is simply a myth. It will last for a certain amount of time and then it will die out. And there's another myth. There's a monolithic myth. A myth to monolithic proportions. Evolution is a myth that rises up to monolithic proportions because it's been promoted from generation to generation and it's taught everywhere in schools, universities, and books and on television. Well, I'm going to let you know that it's physically impossible to prove evolution from a macroevolution point of view. Okay, we need to look at evolution from the perspective of what it claims. Okay, so a theory will make claims. Okay, it will have criteria for establishing whether or not it's true. If it passes all the necessary criteria to prove its authenticity, then it's true. If it doesn't pass the necessary criteria to prove its authenticity, then it's fake. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to judge each theory by the claims that it makes. Okay, so Darwin claims that no creatures were created, that all creatures, regardless of whether they were mammals, marsupials, or other beings, all of these beings are supposed to be traced back to a common ancestor. And Darwin claims that man is traced back to an ape. Okay, then scientists claim that 15 million years ago, man had a common ancestor, which was an ape. Okay, and their claim is this. Their claim is that there was a chromosome fusion event. Okay, now, if a chromosome fusion event were to be proven to be true, you would need the DNA evidence. Chimps and human beings share 98% of the same DNA. Okay, now, you look at it. Okay, chimpanzees have 48 chromosomes. Human beings have 46 chromosomes. Okay, now to get chromosomal evidence, what you need is DNA evidence, okay? And you've got to get that from soft tissue. So there are two types of fossils, all right? Okay, the first type of fossil is soft tissue, which you get from DNA and cells. The second type of fossilized evidence is with hard tissue, which is in the form of nails and bones. Okay, now, to get soft tissue in the form of DNA and cells, that can only be obtained through creatures which have lived in cold climates, and the evidence was gathered through permafrost. Unfortunately, for the people who support evolution, it is physically impossible to get the necessary chromosomal evidence in the form of DNA and soft tissue because all apes only live and have only lived in warm climates, whereas it's physically impossible to get the necessary DNA and cells before you can get the chromosomal evidence. So in other words, you can't get the chromosomal evidence for a chromosome fusion event if you can't get the DNA and cells which would be needed to get evidence of a chromosome fusion event. So if you can't get the chromosomes, then you can't get any evidence of chromosomal fusion event. It's simple as that. Now, another problem with this is it can't be proven. Okay, so let's look at it from perspective. Okay, the chimpanzee has 48 chromosomes. Human being has 46 chromosomes, and according to the alleged chromosome fusion event, chromosome 2A and 2B in the chimpanzee would have fused to form chromosome 2, which is in human beings, which would have resulted in a common ancestor having going from 48 chromosomes to 46 chromosomes, which would have been a common ancestor going from 24 pairs of chromosomes to 23 pairs of chromosomes, which would mean that chimps and human beings would have a common ancestor. Okay, now this is physically impossible to prove. Now let's look at the evidence let's look at the empirical evidence in relation to all past and current fusion events. Okay, we've had chromosome fusion events with mice and horses, all right? And all these chromosome fusion events have resulted in inferior versions of the horse and mouse. These versions of the horse and mouse have resulted in versions of the horse and mouse which have less reproductive capabilities. Okay? It's even worse when we look at human beings. Okay? Now, we look at the human beings. Okay? Now, we've got examples of chromosome fusion events with human beings, like Turner syndrome, the trisomic version of Down syndrome, and cat eye disease. These diseases result in intellectual and physical disabilities. The trisomic version of Down syndrome is caused by extra copy of chromosome 21. Cat eye disease is caused by a replication of chromosome 21 and a fusion of chromosomal material. Okay, so this is, you look at the trajectory, okay? The evidence with human beings is this, okay? You've got the trajectory of, okay, you've got the chromosome fusion event and the trajectory is going down when we get the real evidence. Then you get the Darwinist claim is, yes, there was a chromosome fusion event with the chimpanzee 15 million years ago, okay? And it went up to a higher version of man. This flies in the face of all current and past empirical evidence. I'll be doing a follow-up video going more in depth about this. This is just a warning to let people know there is zero evidence to prove evolution from a macroevolution perspective. Have a nice day.